Grand Rising Kings, Queens, Gods, Goddesses, multi-exclusive dimensional being called with another exclusive. Today's video is going to be about Sun in Taurus, Moon in Virgo. So when the Moon goes into Virgo, of course, this is reacting and responding to our details, our routines, staying in our business, of course, being practical. So, of course, when you got the Moon in Virgo, it's going to be very hard for certain Zodiac signs to cope with these energies. For instance, Moon in Virgo right now is opposition our good old Pisces, and it's, of course, it's squaring our good old Jupiter, and of course, it's squaring our good old Gemini. So it's gonna be a little learning processes for these Zodiac signs, aka all the mutable signs, gonna be basically inheriting these things, and of course, all the fixed signs. Well, Taurus, for instance, they're gonna be experiencing a gift, a trine. But of course, you know, Venus falls in Virgo, so Taurus can be very, very, very fixated right now in their own way, of course, not wanting to change things, because you know, Virgo is mutable, mutable earth. Taurus is fixed earth, so the earth don't really like change, but the earth is always going to replenish itself and do what it's got to do to basically take on the duties and obligations. So, of course, when we talking Zodiac signs specifically, you already know that off rip, Aries and Virgo, this is going to be a circumstance situation where the Aries is going to be impulsive. The Aries is going to do things without thinking. The Aries is not going to really sit still to try to cope with details or try to get down to reality. Because remember, Saturn kind of falls here. So when it comes to structure, when it comes to practicality and logical perspective or left brain, it really don't work in this perspective, because you can't contain fire. You can't sit fire down. You cannot teach fire. Fire is going to want to basically do what fire want to do. And of course, fire is aka hot. So you can't really try to put water on a fuel. You can only just allow it to basically come up with its own way of coping with things and doing its own thing. So yeah. So the fire signs in general, it's going to be a different perspective. See now, a Leo want all the attention. A Leo want all the fame. A Leo want to basically express what they have to offer to the world. And you know, that's cool and all, but of course a Virgo will want to basically be a service to people, work for other people, and of course, be a stepping stool at times, because you know they value a lot, and they play a little bit of the Libra energies because they like on the other side. Of course, they only love to receive recognition and care and respect when, of course, they do a job for somebody and they do it perfectly good, or if they're just doing their own job and doing things in that perspective. So it's going to be kind of different when we're talking about that. This is going to be like minor issues for a Leo in general. And now for a Sagittarius, this is going to be a square, because, you know, Sagittarius can be mutable, adaptable. But of course, when it comes down to Earth and being practical, that's a different perspective. So Sagittarius may be basically taking on duties and obligations, but they may not even be able to actually cope with these energies, because they may be basically making promises that they asses can't keep. So it's kind of like a learning process for Sagittarius with this perspective. So it's gonna be like ups and downs and shit. Now for the water signs, see now Cancer is gonna have opportunities to love, nurture, and care, and of course, be a service and kind and generous to people, places, and things. But you know, Virgo is not really emotional, so it's kind of like not in that perspective. But of course, this is a good time to love, nurture, and care for a Cancer, or for a Cancer to basically display and push these things out. Because of course, they're going to either be displaying themselves in this perspective, or they're going to be basically knowing how to love and nurture and care people, and of course, be a service and kind and generous to people. So this is going to play out in a very, very perspective, greatly manner. Now, when you got Scorpio, see, this is another sextile, aka this is an opportunity for a Scorpio to get in a bag, clear out any desires or anything that don't basically serve in their purpose. Try to think positive, and of course, they got the details to be able to actually investigate and go in their perspective and go deep into things, because of course, this is a sextile for them. But you know, Pisces, it's going to be kind of like a dull reality, aka you may have all these imaginations, but the way you express yourself and put yourself out there in reality, you're going to be seen as a offish kind of person. So it's going to be like a circumstance situation where things may be out of perspective. When you got the air signs, see now with this perspective, see a Libra is going to be basically seeing the other side of things. Libra is not going to be too predicated towards details or looking at minor perspectives or worrying about health. A Libra is going to basically be trying to like see where they can basically give their all, or help somebody, or communicate with somebody, or basically collab with a project. It's like the same as a Virgo, but you know, Libra loves to communicate and be very airy, and of course romantic at times. See, an earth sign want to be practical, make sure these things make sense in order for them to basically get down to perspective. So Libra will look at the Virgo like, this person is just too serious. Like, damn, like, learn how to loosen up. And of course, when we're talking about Earth is like dealing with things that's reality here and now. And of course, air is basically dealing with the past, and of course, air is also dealing with the future and the here and now as well too. So yeah, it's gonna be a little different perspective, but that's what the Libra energy is gonna be coping with minor details right now. Now for Gemini, it's gonna be a square for you guys. Y'all might be at war with yourselves. Y'all might be all over the place. Try to find a structure where y'all can be very like down to earth. See, it can be easier for a Gemini if they got if they have a lot of earth in their chart. But if they got too much air in their chart and they're all over the place, this can be a bad position for them, because they could be too airy and shit. And of course, too airy being all over the place, you're gonna put yourself in a circumstance situation not being too serious. Even though this is the other side of Mercury, but we got the air and we got the earth. See, air is kind of airy, talkative at times, but the earth can basically do the same and basically make sure they can construct these things. So that means they're liable to basically do things in the most perfective manner. Also be a service and kind of generous to people, places, and things. So this play out at all different levels. If Aquarius is going to come off as alienated when we're talking about this perspective right here. Aquarius may be trying to do everything perfect or take on too many perspectives in their own manner. So they're going to be doing this in their own unique way. Virgo probably going to be looking at the Aquarius like, what's wrong with this person? It's supposed to be done this way. Because, you know, it's going to be a circumstance situation where it's supposed to be done this way. This is supposed to be right. But, of course, Virgo may play it on, but Aquarius going to be like, okay, I know it all. So what you talking about? But, yeah, that's going to be that perspective. Last but not least. Taurus is, y'all going to have a gift to basically be friendly, communicative, and helpful towards people, places, and things. You're going to be loved in this perspective. You're going to have the gift. Make sure you use that gift. See, a Virgo, y'all gonna have the spotlight for a couple of days to basically see what kind of seeds y'all be planting. So, of course, the Virgo, y'all planting the seed right now. And, of course, we all coming together basically plant this seed together. So, Virgo, y'all going to be in the spotlight. And, of course, Capricorn, y'all going to have the gift to bring structure and bring reality into existence, because this is also a Mercury trine Saturn position that we also got in the clouds. So y'all gonna have a gift. So stand on this gift, act on this gift, and be practical. And of course, when we got the first house, when we got Virgo in the first house, you're gonna be looking at the details when it comes to your personalities. And of course, if your personality suits you in the perspective where you need to work on yourself, and of course you're gonna find like more reliability in this perspective, well, you need to work on yourself. Go to the gym, do something that's going to best suit you, and of course make sure you don't put yourself in a situation where you're doing shit for other people but you're not receiving the higher end of the stick. So yeah, be in that vibe and be in that energy. You got Virgo in the second house. You're going to be valuing things that you have. You're going to be basically paying a whole lot of details to the things you value, to the people, places, things you may be valuing too much. Everything that you touch, you may burn right through it. Maybe burn through money, burn through food, burn through values, possessions, people, and shit. Try to calm down. Try to get more detail oriented. Try to learn when there's a time to do things and there's a time to basically sit back, because of course you can suffer the consequences by not taking care of your details or being practical or being organized. So get your shit together. If you got the sixth house, if you got Virgo in the second house. Now, if you got Virgo in the third house, you're going to be basically looking at the details when it comes to your surroundings and the familiar people, places, and things. Try to put yourself in a circumstance situation of being down to earth, because you may be doing too many things. You may be taking on too many shits in your surroundings. But, of course, you need a practical perspective. You need a practical foundation in this perspective where you can basically actually ground your ideas and, of course, work on these things. If you got Virgo In the 4th house, you're gonna be looking at the details when it comes to home, and of course private matters. See, in this perspective, you may be looking at chores like it's an issue to do, or you may be looking at like doing shit yourself. You might just try to use your family to basically get you to do shit. You might just basically be a lazy ass person. Time to basically switch the coin, because at the end of the day, your family ain't gonna be here forever to basically wipe your ass. So you gotta learn how to get up off your ass and take care of your responsibilities. If you got Virgo in the 5th house, you're gonna be looking at the details when it comes. Oh man, what the fuck is this? You're gonna be looking at the details when it comes to your expressions. So of course, you need a whole lot of room to be able to express yourself. You need to basically go out there and present yourself, not stay cluttered minded, or basically in a jam. Learn how to express yourself and put yourself out there. And of course, as long as you have a good gift, as long as you can like balance out that ego and be in good vibes, everything gonna go in your perspective. But if you all over the place and shit, and too attention seeking, and of course, this shit is gonna slip up right out your hands. So learn how to find balance and equilibrium. If you got Virgo in the 6th house, you need to basically work on yourself. Focus more on your routine, details, scheduling, making sure things that you are predicated towards doing is in your perspective and not nobody else. Make sure you like working on yourself, have your own perspective, forget what other people think about you. You need to just go out there and do what you need to do. That's your goal. And of course, you're very goal oriented if you got this position, but you need to focus more on yourself. Forget what everybody else saying. If you got Virgo in the 7th house, you're gonna be looking at the details when it comes to your relationships. You may be too possessive. You may be too overindulgent in things that matter, but love matters is ups and downs. You may be in a relationship where you may have to like babysit somebody, or you may feel the need to basically feel like that you have to do all this extra shit. But of course, when it comes down to you, you don't get this love in return. So if you're in that relationship, you need to basically get yourself out of there and learn how to find an equilibrium and balance, and not just be somebody's ass kisser. Or yeah, you basically an ass kisser. If you're in a relationship, basically being a parent, doing it all, you're not receiving nothing back. Yeah, try to get out of that relationship fast. If you got Virgo in the 8th house, you're going to be basically looking at the details of hidden desires, dark desires, or deep desires. Learn how to not think negative. Learn how to put yourself in a certain situation, clear your space. Make sure it's a rainbow in there. Make sure it's not a whole lot of dark aliens or dark skeletons under your perspective, and you'll be all right. Yeah. If you got Virgo in the 9th house, you're going to be looking at the details when it comes to your experiences and the things that you are put out there. Try to learn how to focus on a routine where you can basically stay grounded and bring your perspectives into reality. Learn how to find ambitions within yourself, and you'll be good. Because, yeah, you may be having too many ideas. You may go to the extremes, but of course, how you going to bring this shit down to earth if your ass is always in your imagination or floating somewhere? Come down to earth sometimes. If you got Virgo in the 10th house, you're going to be basically looking at the details of expression. Try not to put yourself in a circumstance situation of doing too much. You may burn out. You may put yourself at harm's way. You may put yourself at risk. Learn how to be fixated on doing one thing at a time, and everything will basically be predicated towards your perspective. But of course, find new ways where you can find rest and get sleep and balance, and you'll be all right. You ain't got nothing to worry about. If you got Virgo in the 11th house, people you associate yourself with, or the things that you're associated with, try to make sure it's very good for your health and not overwhelming at times, because you may be taking on too many responsibilities when it comes to your associations, or your associates may be too loving, too kind, and too curious to the point it may burn you out, or you may just be in groups or scenarios where things is not coping very well with you. So yeah, watch out for that. Also, Virgo in the 12th house. Now, this is a huge perspective, because you may be in a circumstance situation of loving too much, caring too much, or relating too much. And this might put you in a circumstance situation where people, places, and things may take your kindness for weakness. You may be taken advantage of. You may be put on the back burner. And of course, it's all good and shit, but of course, find your spiritual purpose, find your spiritual perspective, and know when to like take breaks sometimes, and know when to not be too needy and things in that matter, and everything will basically be right. But your love life and your life in general is upside down, so you're gonna be looking at the details of your dreams, your imaginations, fantasies, and illusions. Try not to get lost into these things. You'll be all right.